Chair now recognizes our friend Ms. Brown from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And you asked if we were all better off 4 years ago, and here's the facts. 4 years ago this week, there were over 750,000 new COVID cases. People were being hospitalized in tents and on ships because hospital buildings did not have the capacity to house the hundreds and thousands of patients. 4 years ago today, this week, 20,000 people died from COVID-19, adding to the already 500,000 deaths in the U.S. alone. Now, this is because of the pandemic that people were dying, and they were dying alone. Their bodies being stored in refrigerator trucks because morgues, mortuaries, and funeral homes could not house them. People were dying by the thousands, and Trump did what he always does. He lied. He tried to deceive the public by denying that the COVID-19 virus even existed. And after hundreds and thousands of people continued to die, he told them that it would be like the flu. It's going to be like the flu, and it'll just go away. But when that didn't happen, he started to then suggest that we ingest bleach to deal with the COVID-19 virus that was killing thousands of people, that shut down the world, that closed people sheltering in place in their homes and closed businesses. That's what that administration did when the pandemic struck in the United States and all over the globe. So when my colleagues on the other side of the aisle spend their time chasing baseless accusations and providing no solutions to the American people, I just get a little frustrated. Because Democrats, when we had the majority in the 117th Congress, we took decisive action, passing landmark bills like the American Rescue Plan that put shots in arms, that helped people keep their businesses open, that really helped kept people from losing their homes and paid their bills. The PACT Act, which helped veterans who put their lives on the line so that people like me can enjoy the freedoms that far too many of us take for granted, would get the benefits that they deserve. And it doesn't end there. Thanks to the leadership of Speaker Pelosi, President Biden, and Vice President Harris, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest investment in our climate in human history. We passed the CHIPS and Science Act, investing tens of billions of dollars in technology, which has yielded more investment from private companies that is helping to develop everything from chips to cars to computers to all of the things that we use every day that were on backlog because of the pandemic under the Trump administration. We passed the Biden bipartisan infrastructure bill, the largest investment in our roads, railway, and bridges, where communities like mine have been struggling with disinvestment for decades. And because of these big, bold policies like these, our economy is now the envy of the world. Inflation is coming down. Our unemployment rate is historically low. Even the stock market is at record highs. President Biden and Vice President Harris has brought 800,000 manufacturing jobs back to the American people. Thanks to the IRA, Medicare was able to negotiate prescription drug costs for the first time, lowering costs for our seniors and people with disabilities. And thanks to the CHIPS and Science Act, America is now on track to manufacture 30% of the world's semiconductor chips. Just a few years ago, under Trump, how many were we supplying? 0. So, Mr. Duke, can you tell us, how would you characterize the state of the American economy right now?
We went through the toughest thing an economy can go through, a body blow, and we've built back better in a lot of ways. The employment rate is higher than it's ever been in terms of when you adjust for aging. Wealth has gone up 50% compared to inflation, which has gone up 22%. Wages are higher, they've gone up faster than inflation, and they've gone up faster than inflation for the lowest wage workers. And so we've got this remarkable recovery going, and it's just really important that we keep it going with the investments that the Biden-Harris administration has made, which are lowering costs while creating jobs.
And can you just tell me, former president has proposed massive tariffs on all sorts of goods, everything, tariff everything. What would be the economic consequences of this Project 2025 Trump plan to raise costs on American families?
Sure, Wall Street analysts think it'll put inflation back in the 3s or 4s. It's low 2s right now, back in the 3s or 4s. Cost a typical family $4,000, $6,000, way more than anything they got in tax cuts from Donald Trump. It's a Trump sales tax.
Thank you. There are two very different visions of America here. One where we boost, bolster, and invest in the middle class, lower health costs, and build an economy made to succeed in the 21st century. The other side has no plans for a brighter future. Their only economic concept of a plan are tax cut for billionaires and largest business while raising taxes on the middle class Americans by an average of $3,900 a year. I know I speak for so many of my constituents that we cannot afford another Trump tax increase. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Chair now